So a job that I really need to do now is move all these plants from the grow light shelves down to the allotment into the greenhouse. They really do need to start going down now because they're starting to get really big, and I just can't justify using all this electricity for the fans, for the lights, when it's not really that necessary anymore. You know, the light levels are much better now, the days are much longer, the greenhouse is getting much warmer now, so it doesn't really make sense having them under here anymore. We're getting into May now. I was putting this off for the last week or two because the nighttime temperatures were just too cold. We had a few frosts last week, and I just didn't want to risk it, even though they would have been in the greenhouse. I still didn't want to risk it. I've been growing these since January, so I didn't want to risk losing them. Nighttime temperatures are looking much better for the foreseeable future now, so you know, 8, 9, 10 degrees nighttime lows. I feel comfortable moving these into the greenhouse now, and I don't need to worry about losing them to the frost. They're not going to be going outside yet. It's going to be many weeks yet before I move any of them outside. This is just going to be going into the greenhouse for the time being. Our last frost date is usually around mid to late May, so we're still a few weeks off that yet. I don't even know if I've got room in the greenhouse, to be honest. I might need to move things around a bit. I don't even know if I'll fit them all in the car. I'm going to try and get it done in one trip. I might have to play a bit of Tetris with all the pots and trays and stuff to try and get them in, but I'm going to try and get them done in one trip, and then I'll have to try and squeeze them in the greenhouse. So I'll just show you what's going on under here dead quick before we start moving them. So we'll just quickly start on the bottom shelf here. We've got all our tomatoes here, and these have been struggling, to be honest, because the Jack's Magic compost, which I put them in, isn't that great. So some of them do have edema, which is a problem with moisture. It could either be the conditions in the room, like humidity, not enough ventilation, but I think it's the compost, because it's getting too wet or it's getting too dry. I can't get the soil moisture right with this. Quite a few of the tomatoes look okay, you know, some of them are alright, but I say about half of them are really struggling. Look at that over there. So I'm going to try and save these. I'm going to take them to the allotment and I'm going to pot them up into a different growing medium, and yeah, we'll see how we go from there. I think we'll be alright. I think we'll manage to save these. So yeah, we've got all our sweet potato slips over there, and they're all starting to grow roots. Actually, there's roots coming out of there, if you can see that. I'm not going to move these to the greenhouse yet, simply because I want the temperatures to be warmer at night than they are now, because sweet potatoes, you know, they're really sensitive to cold temperatures. So I'm going to let these root, and then I'm going to pot them up, probably put them on the windowsill, and then in a few weeks time I'll move them down. So that's the only exception here, really. So yeah, we've got more sweet potato slips in there. We've got loads of sweet potato slips on the go. There, under there. We've got all our basil here, which will move down to the allotment. We've still got loads of physalis over there, which I'll probably end up giving away. We've got loads of these antirrhinums. We've got loads of cosmos plants. Can you see why I'm wanting to move these to the allotment? They need potting on. Everything needs potting on, really, to be honest. We've got more cosmos at the back over there. We've got loads and loads of marigolds. I need to get rid of these. I've got all these sticky fly traps I need to bin. Yeah, loads of marigolds, and yes, they need potting on as well. We've got some petunias at the back there. One of them is actually flowering. Look at that. So yeah, they need potting on as well. I just don't have the room under the grow lights to pot them all on. There's just too much, to be honest. So that's another reason why I'm moving them. Got our shop bought basil there, loads of that. We've got tons and tons of peppers here. We've got loads and loads of peppers. There's a few potted on physalis plants there, which are looking nice. Looking good. Looking good, yeah, loads of, these are California wonder peppers down here. They are smaller than the other ones. And here are our main peppers, and yeah, they're looking really, really big. I'm really impressed with how these are done, but they're also suffering the same problem as the tomatoes with the edema. Some of them are worse than others. To be honest, they're not severely affected. Don't know if you can see that. There are a few small blisters. I'm not too concerned, to be honest. Obviously, I've stopped watering them, I've let the soil dry out. In fact, I've not watered these in about a week, to be honest, and they still look all right. Yeah, really nice sized plants. We've got about 20 pepper plants here. We've got loads of aubergines over here. There's actually some down here on the floor. I had to move these off the shelf because they were getting so big. Look at the size of these aubergines. Really, really nice size. Okay, we'll quickly go over the last shelf at the top. We've got a few butternut squash plants. That one's looking pretty nice. That one's looking healthy. But that one, what has happened there? I don't know. They're not looking great, to be honest. They're quite yellow. I'm assuming they just need potting up into something else. We'll try and save them. They may bounce back in new compost. We'll see. We'll give them a benefit of the doubt. Yeah, we've got all these peppers which I showed you before. And then we've got all our mini munch cucumbers here, looking really, really nice. Really good. They've actually got a few more flowers popped up. I did pick the first few off, but now they're already sending out more. So they're looking really good. So that's pretty much everything that's going on under the grow lights. Lots and lots of things. But as you can probably see, things are starting to struggle a little bit with the conditions, and you know, they need potting up, they need more nutrients, and they could do with a bit of warmth and a bit of natural sunlight. So yeah, it's time to get these down now, get these potted up, get these into their proper growing places. It's going to be quite a tedious and time consuming job getting these moved to the allotment, but when it's done, it's done. I'm going to try and fit them all in the car now, get them all done in one journey if I can. Okay, so we've actually managed to fit them all in the car somehow. I'm really surprised. Got most of them in the boot. We've got some more in the back seat there. It's looking pretty crazy in here. And we've got loads more in the front there as well, the passenger seat. So yeah, fit them all in. I only dropped one of them, but we've still got to drive there, and we've still got to take them out and get them in the greenhouse. Okay, I think that's everything now in here. The bench is absolutely loaded with plants, and there's actually a lot of stuff on the floor as well around here. Actually no, that's not it, there's still more plants to come in, so we'll go and get those. I want to try and get them all in here. I'll have to get those on the floor as well. Tray of tomatoes. There's actually 2 trays of tomatoes. So that is everything in here now from the grow lights. I'm not going to show you the stuff again, I've already shown you at home what we have. But yeah, I'm hoping they start doing better in here because they were struggling at home. You know, they needed some real sunlight, to be honest. They needed potting on. I'm going to be doing the potting on over the next week or 2. That's going to be a really long process, getting things potted up into bigger pots. I mean, these peppers, for example, I mean, they're really big size now. I'm not keen on the Jack's Magic compost, so I want to get them potted on. Actually, I may just transplant them straight out into the raised beds in the polytunnel, all these pepper plants, because you know they do have this edema, only mild, you know, it's not severe, so they will be all right. I'm not too concerned about that. But we've got all these peppers here. Look at those, they look really, really good. I'm really happy with how they've done so far. You know, we're just getting into May now. You know, they're a really good size actually. There are flowers appearing on some of them. I want to pick those off though, I don't want to leave them on there, but I don't like to have flowers appearing until at least 2 weeks after I've transplanted them into the raised beds. But anyway, I'm going to show you what's going on around the allotment and the other stuff that I've not brought from home, which is growing in here as well. Because I've been really busy actually over the last couple of weeks. I've done quite a bit around the allotment, so I'll show you that. But the reason I've not really done a video is because I've just been so busy with work and other things. And you may hear I've got a bit of a horsey throat because I've had a bad cold. I'm just recovering from that now. It's getting better, but yeah, that's the reason why I've not really done videos for a good week or two. Okay, so going around this same greenhouse, all our sweet corn's coming up now in these modules. Looks pretty nice. They've done all right. Despite being in the Jack's Magic compost, I'm really surprised that they're growing, to be honest. I'm surprised they've not rotted, but yeah. We've got some courgettes over there, a few beans as well. A few more courgettes are just starting to poke up over there, just started to see them over there. Got some, what's in here? Dwarf beans, yeah, dwarf beans in here. They're just starting to poke up as well now. Little signs of them coming up, so that's good. Here's our earliest sowing of dwarf beans, and they look pretty nice. They'll be going out in a couple of weeks, hopefully, weather permitting, of course. Now, all these 9cm pots along here have runner beans in. I sowed these a couple of weeks ago. They've still not come up yet. I've had a little bit of a sneak peek. I'm sure most gardeners are guilty of having a sneak peek in the compost if they've not seen them germinate after some time. I'm sure you can all relate to that. We're all guilty of it at some point in time. Yeah, I've had a sneak peek and they are sprouting. You know, they've not rotted. They are growing, so I expect they'll be up in the next week, hopefully. We've got all sorts over here. We've got the squashes over there from home. Loads and loads of these sunflowers. I'm growing some Pikes Peak sunflowers this year. I did have a couple of them at home, but we've got some more here. I've never had much success with them, to be honest. They never really do anything. But yeah, the biggest sunflower seeds in cultivation, Pikes Peak. And then we've also got some of these just standard giant single sunflowers. I want to grow a few sunflowers this year. And FYI, sunflower shoots are really, really nice, by the way, to eat in a salad or whatever. They have a really nice nutty flavour. So if you've got loads of sunflower seeds, get them sprouted and eat the young seedlings. They're really, really tasty. Just eat them before they start to get the true leaves, and yeah, they're delicious. Over here, yeah, we've got a few tomatoes which we brought down earlier just as guinea pig plants, just to, you know, test the water, see if they could survive in the greenhouse. And you know, we had a frost the other night, it got down to about -1, and they still look okay. They've got a little bit of sun scald. I expect that a few of these plants from the grow lights will get sun scald because they're not used to the full sun. I'm not faffing around, you know, hardening them off, bringing them out, taking them in, because there's just so many of them. So, you know, I expect that some of them will get sun scald, but that's okay. It's not severe, and they will grow just fine. We've got one courgette plant over there, which, like the tomatoes, were an earlier sowing, and I brought them down earlier as well. We've got all these carrots which are sowed in the bucket, in this bucket. I think I sowed them in February. I thinned them out already. I'm probably going to have to thin them out again and get some baby carrots and then let the rest grow into bigger carrots. This variety is called Early Nantes. And yeah, they're growing really, really well there. I'm really happy with how they're doing. So on the floor, Yeah, we've got all our stuff from home. Peppers there. This is just going to be temporary. I'm going to move these next week and, you know, start potting on. Same with these tomatoes. I'm going to get all these potted up because they really are looking sorry for themselves. We've got all our leeks over there, which I planted into that mushroom tray and waited on them to get bigger before I plant them outside. Got giant onions here, Mammoth improved into the variety, and yeah, we're just letting them grow nicely over there before we plant them out with our other onions. I've got a little peach tree here which sprouted next to my Crimson Bonfire peach tree. I'm not going to grow this and expect peaches. I don't expect that to happen because I don't think it will grow true to the parent tree, because I think that Crimson Bonfire was probably a grafted tree. I'm simply going to grow this as an ornamental tree, and I may actually try and grow it as a bonsai, because look at the leaves. Beautiful purple leaves. We've got loads of celery over here. I've just thrown them in over there. I was a bit lazy with them, to be honest, but they are growing. They seem to be getting a little bit bigger. Got a few brassicas over here. We've got loads of these cabbages and broccolis. We've got some younger plants there, some later sowings of cabbages there, and sprouts. We've got some sprouts there as well. We've got some more sowings of lettuce there, looking alright then. Got a few more brassicas. These were the ones in the grow lights though, so they're very leggy. We've got our drain pipe peas there at the back. Kelvin and Wonder is the variety, and they are a dwarf type. I've already got an earlier sowing, all my earlier sowings of peas outside now, planted out there, but this is a second sowing, and you know, in a couple of weeks time I think I'll be putting these out as well. And then we've just got more grow light stuff there, like marigolds and all the other stuff which I need to pot on. So that's actually everything in the greenhouse here. So let's go into the polytunnel and then around the plot and see how things are doing around there. Okay, our 4x3 metre polytunnel here, our Allotment polytunnel. Not the one that's blown away, this one thankfully is still here. It's absolutely full of garlic, this one. Really is full of garlic. I'm using this stuff around here as green garlic. It was a bad crop last year. We only had small bulbs, but we planted them and we're just going to use them as like spring onions really, but garlic, to be honest. I found they have a much stronger flavour. Behind those we have our shop bought China grown garlic, really big garlic bulbs. They seem to be growing pretty nicely all the way along here. I'm hoping that we can get them harvested before I start putting things in here. We've got our Crimson Bonfire peach tree there. I've thinned out the peaches on there. I've thinned them out to around just I don't know, 2 or 3 on each branch maximum. I took out quite a lot of them, to be honest. I need to give it a feed as well. I'll do that at some point. We've got, you guessed it, more garlic around here. I need to water in here, it's looking a bit dry. Got loads and loads of spring cabbages here coming along really nicely. It's a little bit hectic around here. I had to move all the onion trays into the polytunnels to make room for all the stuff which I've just brought down. So I had to kind of dot them around this bed, to be honest, wherever I have space. I'm wanting to hopefully pick some of these spring cabbages soon. They are starting to heart up a little bit there. Maybe I'll pick them in the next week or two, hopefully, we'll see. I'm hoping to get not tomatoes grown in here this year, not after last year's blight disaster. I think I'm going to grow sweet potatoes in here because we've got loads of sweet potato slips, and I think I'm going to grow cucumbers and aubergines, possibly even melons in here as well. I've got a couple of melon plants at home on the windowsill. I'm going to keep them at home. I'm not moving them down here yet because they take absolute age to grow. So that's what I'm going to grow in here. That's my plans once I've cleared the garlic out, hopefully by June. Hopefully, we'll see. So here's our earlier sowing of peas, which I spoke about before in the greenhouse. I planted these out a week or two ago, and we're having a massive problem with slugs. I mean, who isn't having a problem with slugs, let's be honest. But we're also having a problem with rats and mice digging up the pea plants, going for the pea seeds. I'm assuming that's what they're going for. You know, the germinated seeds. And yeah, they're not looking great, to be honest. They've got a lot of snapped stems and they've got a lot of leaves missing because of the slugs, and you know, they've been damaged quite a lot. I'm hoping they come back. I think they will come back, but yeah, the mice and stuff, they're proving to be a real pain in the butt, to be honest. There's nothing going on in our little 6x6 foot greenhouse, but there are two nice cultivated beds on either side here. 2 beds, and I don't know what I'm growing in here yet, to be honest. Maybe tomatoes, actually. We've got most of our potatoes now planted in these buckets. We've got 12 buckets of first and second earlies in the Polytunnel, and then we've got 29 buckets of main crops here, all planted up. I did them a little bit later than normal. I did these a few days ago. We've got our bean support up now, ready for the beans when we put them out in 2 or 3 weeks, hopefully. Our asparagus has made an appearance, and yes, I'm not going to be harvesting it this year. It's going to be next year. This is only its second season, but it's looking really nice, actually. It's very, very tempting to just come in with a knife and cut one of these off, because they really are a nice size. I could eat this asparagus now. It's a good eating size. They all are, actually. But I've got to leave it. I've got to let them grow a stronger root system, you know, become a stronger asparagus plant before I go in there. It will be worth the wait. It will be worth the wait. We've got 1 asparagus in this carrot bed. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. We've got a whole lot of carrots coming up now, though. They're all coming up everywhere. They've been really slow to get going. There's another bed of them over there which look the same as this. They've been really slow to get going simply because of our cold weather, but they are coming along slowly but surely here. Now, we do have a few onion sets which we planted, just a few of them. There's only around 40 of them here, I think. They don't really seem to be doing much yet. Go around here. We've got our big bed here at the front, which is going to be onions. It's all ready for planting now, to be honest. I think I'm going to plant the onions in here maybe in a couple of weeks. I think maybe. We've got a little raised bed here which I just made to put the leeks in. This is going to be our leek bed. And another bed here for onions. I left the kale here to flower, simply just for the bees and the wildlife. I decided to leave them in there. Look at how many flowers are on this apple tree. It is absolutely covered. I'm definitely going to have to thin these apples out when they start to grow, because I can't have this many apples on here. Look at that. Wow. They're really, really delicious apples as well, by the way. This variety is called Discovery. And yeah, they're delicious. Yeah, covered in flowers. I'm probably going to thin them down to around maybe 15 to 20 apples on this tree. And then we can get some nice big apples then. Our elephant garlic's coming along really nicely here. That's looking really good. Next to our normal garlic, yes, more garlic. Can you ever have enough garlic? I don't think you can. You know, we really do like our garlic. Yeah, that's come along really well. It survived the winter. Very, very wet winter as well at that. And it's looking pretty well. There's no signs of any rust yet. Touch wood that it stays that way, and we get some nice garlic this year. So our tulips have been looking really, really well over the last few weeks. I think they're past their best now, to be honest. Sadly, they're not looking very good anymore. Yeah, to be honest, the wet, windy weather probably hasn't helped either. So yeah, they're coming to an end now, sadly. but we're hoping that the alliums are going to start opening up soon, and they should give a nice display. They are starting to open up now. There's plenty of buds here. We planted out the sweet peas the other week, last week, planted the sweet peas out. They're still very small, they've not really done anything, to be honest. These pallets are about 8 foot or so, and that's what I'm using for my sweet peas this year. Another one over here, another pallet with sweet peas around. So yeah, there should be some nice displays of sweet peas along here this year, I think. Should be really, really nice. But we're just waiting for them to start taking off. They're not really doing anything yet. We planted out our parsnips last week. We pre-germinated the seeds at home and then we brought them down here and planted them. And yep, I think they seem to be coming up now. There's small signs of life there. We made another strawberry bed here. I couldn't figure out what to use this bed for here. So I just threw strawberry runners in it, last year's strawberry runners, and that's fine. We have around 3 beds of strawberries now, but we really enjoy them. They're not going to go to waste. Now, in between the garlic bed and the polytunnel there, we've got just a crazy mess, to be honest. We've got mint in pots over there. Half of it's not even alive. We've got an empty bed there, which we'll put something in, I don't know what yet. We've got loads of chives which are just taken over. Some are garlic and some are just normal chives. We've got oregano over there going bonkers, which is just a massive mound of oregano. Really, really easy to grow oregano. I definitely underestimated that plant. Alpine strawberries, different things going on. I definitely need to clear this. I actually took the pallet collar out because it was rotten. It was all rotten and horrible. I'm going to completely redo this herb bed, I think, or I may just make a herb planter at home, so we can just quickly pick some herbs whenever we need them for cooking, because I always forget to pick herbs and take them home from the allotment. So I may just pot these up and move them home, to be honest, and use this space for something else. What have we got here? We've got some lettuce which we planted out. This is our first sowing, and we've lost around half of them. The rest of them seem to be growing okay. We have a few. I think this is more than enough for now, to be honest, because lettuce, you can only eat so much lettuce, can't you? You can't eat tons and tons of lettuce. So there is absolutely loads going on, actually, going into the month of May. I'm glad I got that job done. It was quite a long job. It took me a while to get everything out of the grow room into the car without making a mess, without dropping any plants, although I did drop the one, and then getting them into the greenhouse, clearing space for them. But they're in here now. They're probably going to grow much better in here. It's warmer and there's proper sunlight, full spectrum UV light, so they will do better. But I do need to pot them on. I need to get on with doing that. There's things like the peppers that need to go into the polytunnel. I think I might just put them straight into the raised beds. I think we're all right for this time of year, just going into May. I think we're where we need to be. The plot isn't too messy. Things are slowly growing, gradually. I hope you enjoyed this little weekly vlog update and tour, mini allotment tour. I didn't want to show you too much else because I didn't want to make the video too long. But yeah, I could go on forever showing you everything because there's so much to show you. There's so much going on at the allotment. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button. Leave a comment below what you think. Share what you're growing as well. What are you doing now we're going into May? What gardening jobs are you doing? What are you growing? And if you want to see more gardening content like this in the future and you've got a passion for gardening like I have, then do hit that subscribe button. Become a member of the community which I'm trying to create, and hopefully we can learn from each other. That's what I want to achieve on this platform. I will see you in the next one. Happy gardening and stay safe.